right, it's the last day of August. Tomorrow we start September, and September is going to be a huge month for crypto. Probably the biggest month for crypto of this year for sure, but maybe even one of the biggest months that crypto has ever had. And the big question is, are you ready for what September is going to bring for crypto? And this is what the show is going to prepare you for. So if you're a crypto holder, you want to watch the show till the end, because I'm going to give you some tips as to how you can prepare yourself for the biggest month of the year. Let's do this. Fred, get that off the screen. Get that off the screen. Carl's not 1,000th in the competition. I'm 1,000th in the competition. No kidding, that's where I am. Look, I'm 990, but I still got 2 days, and I'm hoping I'm going to claw myself back up. I learned a lot of tough lessons in this competition. I'll tell you that much. I learned a lot of really tough lessons. One, I learned about how to do short-term trading. I'm not a short-term trader, but I think I've got a system now. So definitely in the next competition, I'm going to apply my new system, and I'm going to do better than I'm doing now. Carl, where are you in the competition?
I'm about 200.
200. You know who the best guy in Banter in the competition is? Surprisingly, it's actually not Sheldon. So I thought Sheldon would be the number one in the competition after me. Oh, it's not me, obviously, as you guys saw. I'm 990. It's actually not Kyle. We know Kyle's because Kyle's paralyzed, can't take the trade. Sits there going, should I trade? Should I trade? Doesn't take a trade. It's actually somebody else, and a guy that you haven't really met, but he works in the background. His name is Bombay Trillionaire. You can follow him on Twitter. His name is the Bombay Trillionaire. He's also got a channel on our Discord, and he is actually the guy that does all the hard work. He's coming 18th, I think. He's coming in the trading competition.
Yeah, between like 12 and 20.
Yeah, between 12 and 20. So he's the best guy. He has got a channel in our Discord. So if you go to the bottom here, there is a link. Click on the Discord link and follow Bombay Trillionaire. You can also follow him on Twitter. He's the best guy in Banter in the competition. And I mean, let us also know what you think of the competition. So tell you one thing, I learned a lot this competition. The first thing is I'm learning how to do short-term trading. I've learned the mistakes of short-term trading. Also, as I said earlier, I learned that we have a lot of really amazing traders in our community. You look at these guys. These guys are up in 3 weeks, or just less than 3 weeks, up 1,087%, 636%, 595%. And we've got a lot of these very consistent traders. So, and this is after we got caught out by Powell and his 8-minute speech. So can't wait for the next one. And I think on that note, let me know if you guys actually want another ByBit competition. The way I see it, it's a no-brainer because you can play with as little as $250. You can win, as you can see, these guys have won $12,000, $7,500, $3,000, $1,500. So you can win a lot of money, and you also become a really, really, really good trader, which is I think that's amazing. You know who else is really, really, really good in the competition? Someone that you have met before. Her name is Paula. Hi, Paula. Where are you in the competition, girl?
Oh, I don't want to talk about it right now. I got wrecked with that scam wig. I used to be in top 10, but then that scam wig got me.
She's good. Paula's good. She's part of our community. She's amazing. She's excellent. Alrighty, listen, welcome back. Nice to see you again. I wasn't here yesterday. They were upgrading the internet. At least that was Fred's excuse. The truth is there was just nothing going on except everyone talking about Vitalik's boner. And I didn't feel like doing a show about Vitalik's boner. So even though we prepared a thumbnail, I decided not to do a show yesterday. First time in a long time I haven't done a show. I'm back here today. So let everybody know that I'm back. You can see half the people don't know that I'm back. So smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. if you're new. Join the 95% of all people that watch the show that actually subscribe to the channel, which makes us the most loyal community in the world. I want to try and get that number to 98%. I can only do it with your help. So go. Also, let me know if you want another trading competition. Also, again, we're shadow banned, so I need your help to get unshadow banned. And then let's get into the show for today, because there's a lot to talk about. And specifically, we need to ask ourselves whether we're ready for the month of September. So the month of August is finished. It's been a rough month. If you look at the emotion, but actually, if you look at the chart for August, it's not actually been that much of a brutal month. So we'll go into the 1 month chart, and remember that the monthly chart, the candle will close today. So let's quickly go and look at the monthly candle. And if you look at that monthly candle, we are ever so slightly down on last month's candle, but not much movement in the month of August, which is quite weird given all the emotion that we've been through. And now, if you look at where we are, you've got Bitcoin at 20,334. And this line over here is actually the 2017 high. So I've just drawn this line from 2017. I won't take you all the way back to 2017. But that's the line that symbolizes the big support resistance level of the 2017 high. And the problem with this is that we've been testing it. So, usually when you get to a certain level and you test it multiple times, you keep filling up liquidity every single time. So you've got buyers who are acting as support at that level. But the problem is that when you fill the buyers 1 time and 2 times and 3 times and 4 times and 5 times, eventually what happens is you break down that support. And so what we want is we want to make sure that we don't test this support level too many times. Right now, we're a little bit above the support level. We're getting a little bit of green, which is good. We're getting someone is saying BitBoy mentioned your thumbnail yesterday. He loved it. I loved the thumbnail too. And then George went and stole. George came up with his own thumbnail. I mean, how is this okay? I mean, let's quickly just go here and just like you saw our thumbnail yesterday. Carl, just upload our thumbnail from yesterday onto there so everyone can see. So we came up with a thumbnail, and I'll show it to you in a second because Carl will actually bring it up. Yeah, he's loading it up. And then George went and copied us 10 hours later, 18 hours later, with the same thumbnail going long. I mean, that's a red card. That's a real red card. You don't do stuff like that. You don't do stuff like that. Or at least we certainly wouldn't do stuff like that ever. Carl, are you putting up our thumbnail? Okay, so you see, that's the thumbnail we came up with yesterday, which I think was a good thumbnail. I think it was a really good thumbnail. And then this is the thumbnail that George came up with. I don't know, man. Not fair. No, okay, it doesn't matter. Good luck to George. All right, let's go back. So Bitcoin keeps tapping onto this 2017 high, which is not good. As I said, every time you tap the 17 high, you fill up and you fill up and you fill up more and more of the liquidity that's waiting to be buying up there. And the problem is that eventually what happens is we break down that support level. So we don't want to be there. We're now slightly above it. There is a little bit of green on the market. In fact, let's quickly check in on the NASDAQ. NASDAQ up 118 points, so nearly up 1%, which is amazing. So at least the NASDAQ is not going down, and we'll probably finish the month of August kind of like where it is. Rest assured that whatever happens, we're going to get a big month of September in crypto. So we do know that for crypto generally, when you look at crypto generally, September is not usually a good month. In fact, it's the worst month. If you look at the historical levels in September, and you look at this table over here, I'll try and make it bigger for those of you who are watching on your mobile phones, because I know how frustrating it is on a mobile phone. So if you look at this is the years, this is the months, and if you look at September is actually Bitcoin's worst month. Okay, so if you look at it, September is usually Bitcoin's worst month. The average is down -5%, but if you look at the total, Bitcoin is, if you add them all up, down 66% in September. Now, let me show you this. Hold on a second. I don't know why I clicked an advert there. Block. Goodbye. See you. Okay. But then, if you look at October, November, and December, traditionally, those are the best months for Bitcoin. We always finish the year on a high. So if that's anything to go by, if we repeat history again, then it could be a bad September. But if it is a bad September, I think it could be a terrible September. So we'll look at that in a second. At the same time, if you look at the S&P 500, the S&P 500 is also a bad month. September is also a bad month for stocks. Again, it's the only month where the stocks actually end negative on aggregate, which is, it's quite huge. And if they do, if that is the case, maybe we're going to be following Michael Burry's. Michael Burry is the guy from The Big Short, and this is his prediction, or he puts the chart of 2018 and he superimposes a chart of the S&P today, and he says, look, if we carry on this correlation, we're going down another 15%. So that's what he says. Right now, the Nasdaq is up almost 1%. The worrying chart for me is this chart over here. It's the Dixie. The Dixie is now, it has put in a higher high. You can call it what you want. That's a higher high. I mean, I've been high enough, and I know what a higher high feels like. This is a higher high. I'm going to Amsterdam this weekend. I'll tell you what the higher high feels like over there. By the way, if you want to meet us for, Sheldon and I will be in Amsterdam this weekend. So if you want to meet us for a higher high, then let's meet up. Just tell us where it is, and we can all go and get high and we'll see the higher highs in the charts. So you've got the dollar going up. It's at 109 now. It's been hovering above 109 the whole day today. And this is because of what's going on in Europe. And there's something very serious going on in Europe. And we're going to talk about it. There's a massive, massive energy war going on in Europe. And we're going to talk about the implications of what this energy war may bring, because it's very, 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 very serious. So you got the euro back down at $1. So it was above, as you can see, it was just over. Now it's back down at $1. And that's because of what's going on in Europe. Now, the other indicator we've got around September, the problem with the other indicator that we've got is that the other indicator is confused. It's like broken. So it's like a clock, but the clock is broken. So you got Jim Cramer, which is our reverse indicator. And he says, on the one hand, he says, we are now oversold on the traditional S&P oscillator, historical bad level to sell. But then he also says the Fed is telling you to sell your cryptos and your NFTs and IPOs and SPACs before they take your life savings. No more nonsense. So on the one hand, he's bullish. On the other hand, he's bearish. Now, this has sent shockwaves down the market because there's a whole big contingency of people that counter trade Jim Cramer. And now they are very confused because he is bullish and bearish at the same time on the same day, which is a big problem. You know what I actually saw here? If you go to Algo Trading, now Algo Trading is the trader that took on Do Kwon in that bet, right? And you see, he said here, he was so confused. He said, with Jim being both bullish and bearish at the same time, he actually decided to cut all his positions because he was so confused. He said, look, if Jim Cramer is bullish and bearish, I'm cutting everything. I'm sitting out of the market because this is something that the market's never seen before. They've never seen the Jim Cramer indicator being both bullish and bearish at the same time. So that's how we're going into September. Let me know in the comments what you think, whether you think we're going to have a bullish or bearish September. It's going to be a big September, regardless of whether it's bullish or bearish. It's going to be a big September. We're going to prepare ourselves for September. If you're in crypto and you're not prepared for September, you're going to wreck yourself for the rest of the year. And whether or not September is good or bad doesn't really matter. We'll talk about that in a second. What you do know is that traditionally, October is a killer month for crypto. November is a killer month for crypto. December is okay. So if history is anything to go by, we have to survive September. And if we survive September, then we've got October, November, which are going to be traditionally very good. But you have to prepare yourself for September. And I'll tell you why you have to prepare yourself for September. Because September is a big month. Let's talk about why it is such a big month. Okay, so very important that you are prepared. It's a big, big, big month. So why is it such a big month? Well, let's start off with the basics. So first thing is on Friday, this Friday, which is, I think like the 1st or 2nd of September, you've got the jobs numbers in the United States. This is what they call the non-farm payroll. So it's people working in non-farm jobs. And what you want to see is you want to see the jobs going down, not because you want to see your fellow Americans unemployed, but because you want the Fed to not feel so confident in tightening the economy, right? Because then after that, on the 13th of September, mark this date down, you've got a very big day. You know why it's a very big day? Because the inflation numbers come out. And remember, we want the inflation numbers to be going down. Last month, they came down to 8.5% from 9.1%. And we want them to come down again. And they may come down again. But let me tell you something. no matter how big this date over here is, no matter how big this 13th of September, no matter how important this date is on the 13th of September, not a single person in crypto is going to give a single shit about what happens in the inflation data on the 13th of September. You know why? Because on the 13th of September also is the ETH merge. So that is the date of the ETH merge. So whereas the rest of the world will be watching the inflation data, we're going to be watching something completely different. We don't really care what happens in the inflation data because there's something bigger happening in crypto, and that's the ETH merge. And you've got to be fully prepared for what's happening on the ETH merge. And I'll show you in a second how you prepare yourself. Then towards the end of September, is it the end of September? Yeah, it's the end of September. 20th to 21st of September, we get a Fed FOMC meeting. They look at the inflation data. They say, okay, based on that, we're going to decide what the interest rate increase are going to be. And Powell didn't mince his words when he said that he's going to be super, super, super aggressive at the next FOMC meeting. And as a result of that, the market is, as it stands, 72% of people in the market are expecting a 75 basis point rate hike in September. Okay, so we're watching the inflation data. We don't really care about it because it's the same day as the merge, but we're going to watch the inflation data. Inflation data comes in at the 8.7% forecast, which I think it'll come in lower than that, just for the record. I just want to say, I think it's going to come in at 8.4, 8.3, or 8.2%. Then all attention goes to the FOMC meeting, and then we'll watch this chart at the FOMC meeting and find out what we think Powell's going to do. I still think 75 basis point happens, and I think it's the last time that we're getting 75 basis points, and then we move on. All right. Also, September. The actual real big news in September is, for us, is the ETH merge. As I've said before, it's the biggest crypto event to happen, in my opinion, since the mining of the first Genesis block, or the first Genesis block on Bitcoin. We're taking the biggest ecosystem in crypto and we're migrating it from proof of work mining to proof of chain validations. It's a huge, huge, huge day. You're taking an ecosystem that's worth hundreds of billions of dollars and you're migrating it in mid-flight from proof of work to proof of stake. Now, all probability is that it's going to go okay. It's been tested many, many times on many, many test nets, but there's no guarantees. And this is making the market extremely nervous. So here's the countdown. You can get it at whenmerge.com. And you can see that in 13 days exactly, 13 days and 40 minutes, we move from proof of work to proof of stake. And in the short term, what you can see is that the Ethereum price has just broken out of this trend which has been going down for the last couple of days. It just broke out today with a whole lot of altcoins. But if you look at it, you can see that also, whereas the ETH funding, which is the funding that people pay to borrow, has now gone pretty neutral. So it's gone like pretty neutral, which means that people who were bearish, who were shorting ETH, because when the funding goes red, people are shorting, are now pretty much neutral. And even the biggest traders, including Galoy Capital, he's also closed his short right before the rip. Now, I want to show you a little trick that, to be honest, Tyler from Chico Crypto showed me in one of his videos, and I think you guys need to look at this. So remember, we spoke to you guys about a platform called GMX. GMX is an options platform. It's a decentralized options platform. A decentralized derivatives platform. And what you can see, if you go to ETH and you go to the available liquidity on the long side, you can see that there are currently $17 million worth of ETH longs. Okay, so you can see that there's $17 million currently worth of ETH longs. If you go to the shorts part of it and you go to the available liquidity, you can see that on this platform, there's $19 million of ETH shorts. So there's $17 million of long and $19 million of shorts. Now, you should watch this. And when there is if one side is bigger than the other, you know that everybody is going one way, you should probably bet the other way. And what Tyler from Chico Crypto said is he tried that for a short and he made huge money because he traded the imbalance. So let's watch that on GMX. And I think, speaking of GMX, this platform is absolutely, absolutely killing it. We told you guys to buy it at about $30. Right now, it's the number 4 most active platform in terms of fees, $405,000 per day. And as a result of that, the market's rewarding it. If you look at GMX over here, let's look at GMX over here. You can see, you see, I did something very clever today. I'm going to show you. So look at this. This is the GMX chart. GMX is almost at all-time highs, 48. Despite the market going down, GMX is almost at all-time highs, which is unbelievable. I mean, for after what we've just witnessed, after Powell's speech, this is at all-time highs. You got to know that this platform is going places. And if you can buy GMX on dips, buy GMX on dips. Okay, buy GMX on dips. I'm saying it. I've said it before. I've said it. I'm going to say it to you guys again. All right. So you've got this ETH BTC chart, and this ETH BTC chart is very much in this channel, right? This is the price of ETH versus the price of BTC. And it's very much been oscillating in this channel for quite a while. In fact, since last year, it's been oscillating in this channel. Now, if the merge goes successful, I think that this starts to move to the upper range of this chart. Now, this, I mean, I know it looks like a very small window, but this increases the price of ETH relative to the price of Bitcoin, could be by as much as 30%. If the merge fails for whatever reasons, then you can expect it to come and test the lows here. So watch this ETH BTC chart. This is a big chart to watch. And as I said to you before, you want to make sure that you are prepared. Okay, so the whole thing about September is you got to be prepared. And one of the ways you need to prep for the ETH merge is you need to make sure that your ETH are either in a cold wallet on a ledger, or that they are in one of the exchanges that is supporting both tokens in the ETH merge. Because remember, we think that the chain, the proof of work chain, will continue to be mined, and the proof of stake chain will launch alongside it. And when that happens, you're going to get an ETH proof of work token and an ETH proof of stake token. So you're going to get two tokens, but only if your tokens are on a cold wallet or on an exchange that actually supports the merge. Prepare yourselves. Make sure that you move your crypto 1 or 2 or 3 days before the merge onto an exchange that supports the merge, or onto a cold wallet, but don't leave it on an exchange that hasn't made an announcement, or that's made an announcement that they're not supporting the ETH proof of work token. Because if that happens, you're going to be giving up at least 3% of its value. But worse than that, I know what happens with these forks. It's like the Bitcoin Cash fork way back then. You can get erratic prices. You can get this thing going erratic pricing, erratic pricing. So make sure that you there, in case you get this erratic pricing, and you get both the proof of work and the proof of stake token. Be prepared. You've been warned. Be prepared. September is a month of preparation for October and November. All right, let's go. Oh, yes, we need to talk about this. This is, for me, the juicy part of the show. The juicy part of the show. Okay, why do I like this part of the show? So remember I showed you this euro versus dollar chart. In fact, no, I showed you this dollar chart. And I showed you how the dollar is going parabolic and how the dollar has just made a higher high and it's at 109. And that is because the euro is collapsing. And the reason why the euro is collapsing is because of what's happening in Europe. Europe is in big trouble. Huge trouble. And the reason why Europe is in trouble is because they are now going through record inflation. If you take the whole Eurozone, their inflation is 9.1%, okay, which is crazy. And the reason why this is happening is because the war between Russia and Ukraine. But more specifically, the reason why this is happening is because Putin had a stroke of genius. He was super calculated, and he started an energy war with Europe. And he started the energy war in the spring when they weren't that reliant on gas and on oil for heating and stuff like that. But the first day of September in the southern hemisphere is the first day of spring. In the northern hemisphere, where Europe is, the first day of September is the first day of the fall or autumn, however you call it. And that is the first day of Europe officially starting to get cold. Now, Europe is starting to get cold, and Putin has halted Russia's Gazprom. Putin has halted gas transportation via Nord Stream 1, which is the gas pipeline that takes gas across the whole of Europe. Now, not only has he halted gas to Germany, but he also halted gas to France. And the reason why he halted gas to France was said, look, you haven't paid your full bill for July, which I don't really need to because they got trading terms. And so what you can see now is that Putin declared this war on Russia and Ukraine, between Russia and Ukraine, and it was very, very calculated. He knew that by declaring war on Russia and Ukraine, he was going to increase the price of commodities. And he knew that Europe was totally dependent on him and on Russia when it came to commodities. And he knew that he could ride out the whole of the summer and hopefully get a peace deal. And if he doesn't, well, he knew winter was going to come up. And now what you're getting in Europe is you're getting what I call an energy war. And it's a very, very, very scary energy war. Because what Putin's done is he's now switched off this Nord Stream gas pipe. And the German network regulator says, hold on a second, we can't see any reason technically why Russia needs to maintain the gas pipe. And Russia's been doing this for a long time. I mean, just to give you an idea of how serious this is how reliant the countries are on Russia's gas export. So 56% of gas exported by Russia goes to Germany, then Italy, then the Netherlands. Okay, it's very, very, very scary. And what it's done is it's destroyed Germany's economy. Absolutely destroyed Germany's economy. Germany inflation is at an all-time high. German manufacturing is at an all-time low. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible situation. And if you look at the countries importing Russian oil, Lithuania, Finland, Slovakia, Poland, Hungary, Germany, etc. So the question is, what did Putin do? Well, he by declaring the war against Ukraine, the prices of natural gas and of oil spiked. And this spike in natural gas and oil, what it did was it actually made Russia make a whole lot more money, because he kind of said, look, well, the price, you guys want to declare sanctions, no problem. The price of oil and gas has just gone up. And if the price of oil and gas has just gone up, every time Russia sells oil and gas, it actually makes a whole lot of money. And in fact, this has helped Russia receive an estimated $400 billion over the past year from oil and gas exports. So Putin declares this war, and he actually comes out laughing. He's the one who comes out laughing. He came out laughing, making $400 billion extra. And you know who predicted this a while back? It was Donald Trump. In 2018, Donald Trump predicted this. And when he did, the Germans were laughing at him. I wonder who's laughing now. Have a look at this.
Germany will become totally dependent on Russian energy if it does not immediately change course. Here in the Western Hemisphere, we are committed to maintaining our independence from the encroachment of expansionist foreign powers.
Look at the look on the face of the Germans and how they're looking at Trump as if he's a madman.
Policy of our country since President Monroe.
Oh, they're laughing. We have green parties here in Europe. You have no idea what you're talking about. But they're not laughing anymore. The Europeans have discovered that the real threat to human civilization is not global warming. It never was global warming. The real threat to people is global cooling, otherwise known as winter.
So that's Tucker Carlson, and I think he's right, because you had Donald Trump coming out in 2018 and warning Germany. Said, look, if you do this, if you don't change your course very, very soon, well, you're going to have a problem. And 4 years later, here we are, and Germany has a very, very, very serious problem. Huge problem. In fact, the problem is so big for Germany. I wanted to show you like the kind of things that are happening in Europe. So this is an electricity bill, which was costing a household 67, I think it's 67p per day. Now gone up eightfold increase in electricity. And if you look at what's happening here, this is one tweet of Alcoa shuts down 1/3 of a 31,000 tons of its aluminium production capacity amidst high energy costs, because they can't do energy costs. Smaller businesses. My mum owns a small cafe in Leicester. Electricity bill has jumped from 10,000 a year to 55,000 a year. She's working out her options, but most probably she'll have to close the shop. This is serious. Consumer inflation in Germany up to 16.6%. This is a huge issue. And that is why the dollar is getting stronger and everybody's running away from the euro. Now, the one person that is benefiting from all this is Russia. And if you look at Gazprom, which is the state-owned gas producer, they rallied by 20%. You know why they rallied by 20%? Because their growth they had record growth, announced a 2.5 trillion ruble net profit, or $41.7 billion net profit. Why? Because of the increase in the price of gas and oil. So what Putin did was he was super strategic. He masterminded this whole thing. And now he's got the US over here depleting their state oil reserves, their strategic oil reserves, to try and keep the prices of oil down and try and keep inflation down. But the problem is that Europe doesn't have these reserves, and it's a huge problem. And we've got to keep our eyes on this mess, because this could lead to something way bigger, huge. Yeah. So what is Germany going to do? Well, I'll tell you what Germany's going to do. Their chancellor Skoll says the German government is going to present the next relief package soon. Presenting a relief package, what does that mean? It means more stimulus, which means more money into circulation, which means higher inflation in Germany. And that's the only tool that Europe's got, is they're going to have to start printing more money, because if they don't start printing more money, there's no way that they can reduce the effects of this energy crisis. So fun times, guys. Fun times here. What else is there? Oh, look at this. My near position is starting to print money. Printing money. Let's just have a look here. My near position in the trading competition. Look at that. I'm up 140% on this near position. It's not helping my overall ranking though. I'm still negative. But don't worry, I'm coming back. So near is actually one of the ones that I said you should be looking at. And the reason why I think you should be looking at near now is because, remember, there is Nearcon. Nearcon is happening in Lisbon between the 11th and the 14th of September. If you want to come to Nearcon, if you want to meet us at Nearcon, then don't go to any of George's videos. Just go to our video over here. And what you'll find that if you go here, you will see that we are going to Nearcon. And if you that's here. And we have 5 tickets to give away to our community. So if you want one of those tickets, tell us in the comments that you want one of those tickets. And make sure that if you ask for a ticket, that you actually will come and meet us in Lisbon, because I've got 5 tickets to give away. I don't want to give tickets to someone who's not actually going to come. I've only got 5 tickets. So come meet us there. Let's have some higher highs together. Let's watch the charts. Let's do some higher highs. Speaking of Near, if you look at Near, their active addresses have been going up quite aggressively in August. So they've gone up by a million active addresses, which is huge. If you've gone from 17 million to 18 million, that's quite big. And especially if you look at like Solana's active addresses have actually gone down for the 3rd month in a row. So this is, as I said before, I would be buying Near. I have been buying it. I said I'd be buying Near and be buying Aurora, which is the EVM compatible network on Near. I would still be buying Aurora. In fact, Coinbase is now listing Aurora. It's the first major exchange that's actually listing Aurora. So yeah, definitely one that I'll be looking at. I wanted to show you this. So if you look at this token over here, which I know we all know very well, look at what Luna Classic has been doing for the last couple of days. Look at that. Luna Classic in the last couple of days has gone from here. It's gone up about 100% in the last couple of days, and that's because they've introduced the token burn. So yeah. All right, if you want to come, let us know, but make sure that you actually can come. I don't want to be giving away tickets to people who can't come. Yeah. And if you're a big Near fan, yeah, join us. Otherwise, just go buy a ticket. They're not expensive. Just meet us there. I mean, if you are a real degen, you may want to take a trade like this. So if you go to FTX today and you look at the funding rate on, say, for example, Lux, the funding rate is 109.5%. So you can long the perpetual and borrow the spot and collect the funding. If you want to do those kind of crazy degen trades, go and investigate it. That might be one worth looking at. What else, Carl? Anything else happening? I think that's it for today. That's it. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. I will do a show before I get on the plane. I hope. I'll do my best to do a show. Just have to find out what time my flight is. And if my flight's at any kind of time where I can come and do a show, I'll be here and I'll do a show as I do every single day. So I'll see you guys again tomorrow. And we've got a couple of things. Should we do some Q&A? Let's do some Q&A. We haven't spoken. Fred, what the hell is that? Oh, you want to see actual pictures of me next time I win at the next trading competition? I'll show you actual pictures of me winning the next trading competition.
C'est la première fois que le président de la République se déplace en Polynésie française. Emmanuel Macron est arrivé ce dimanche matin pour une visite.
That's actual pictures of me winning the next trading competition, with everyone just giving me the flowers, just saying congratulations, you've won the trading competition. All right, I see that there's no real intelligent questions here. So with that, on that note, what I think we should do is listen to a duck beating a drum. I just want to confirm that no animals were hurt in the beating of the drum. See you guys again tomorrow. Until then, trade well, my friends.
Subscribe-itis. Some of you are forgetting to click the like button,
No!
the subscribe button,
God!
and even the bell notification.
No! God, please, no!
Here's live footage of a viewer with subscribe-itis attempting to subscribe to the channel. Pathetic. Practice safe subscribing. Sit down when you subscribe. And don't forget to go check out goldremy.com.